But what did you make of your man Ilia Topuria throwing in the ring, talking about Terence Crawford, huh? Check this out.
I didn't make much of it. Yeah.
Little niggle here from Ilia Topuria. Of course, boxers make so much more money than elite MMA fighters, but saying that he would knock out Terence Crawford with the first punch he lands if they ever meet inside the squared circle. So this isn't an MMA call out. This is a boxing call out against Terence Crawford.
Yeah. Once again, Ilia, it's like Ilia says lots of things, he says lots of things. And it's in the MMA sense, he says lots of things and then he actually does some of the more impressive versions of them. So, all right, fair play. But, I mean, brother, you've been here long enough and I've been here long enough to see how many MMA champions have told us about the grandest things that they could pull off in the height of their excellence. And, I already had to live through, I had to live through the media cycle of Kamaru Usman calling out Canelo only for Canelo to eventually be a guest on his podcast. You know what I mean? Like, they just say things. And, dude, it's just a silly fucking thing at this point. I mean, yeah, I don't make much of it.
The funniest was when Kamaru Usman was on Terence Crawford's podcast or something. They were interviewing each other and he told him how MMA fighters make way more money than boxers.
And they were trying to sit there and deny it. And I'm like,
did you see Crawford's face? He was like,
yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, what? Yeah,
it was so good. But no, in all seriousness, there's going to be fans out there. Obviously, Topuria, one of the best strikers in the game. He touches you, you go out. They don't really understand Terence Crawford as much as maybe the more hardcore boxers out there. Crawford, switch hitter, one of the best to do it. Realistically, though, in a boxing match, if Topuria was in there with him, does he have much of a chance?
I cannot imagine he would last any longer than Terence wanted him to. Dude, I was there in attendance. So everybody always knew for the last, I don't know how many years, Terence has been really, really good. He's had really good wins. He was a unified champion many, many years ago. Moved up, and obviously he unified up at 47, and he's trying to do it here at 68. I don't know if he will, but I guess we'll see. But my story and understanding how good he was is a little bit different. So let me help you understand what I saw. In the lead up to Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, Showtime came to me and they said, hey, we want you to do a breakdown of this fight. And I was like, okay, well, we already had all this Errol Spence footage because he was a PBC fighter and they obviously had a deal. So I got access to all this footage, right? So I had anything I want, the Kell Brook fight or and I attended some of Spence's fights, not Gamboa. Gamboa was the tank fight, but there was the one he had at Jerry's World with the bald guy from Cuba. What's his name? It escapes me. Anyway, but we had access to all this footage, but we couldn't get hardly anything from Top Rank. They only gave us highlights, and it wasn't enough to do a breakdown. So I went back to Showtime and I was like, I don't have enough. And they're like, all right, well, just do one on Spence because that's all we really have. And I said, okay, cool. So I did. So I went through so many of Spence's fights, man. The Chris Algieri fight, as I mentioned, the Kell Brook fight. It just goes on. The Sean Porter fight, because they had a common opponent. Both of them fought Sean Porter. And before Errol Spence fought Bud Crawford, he was on the pound for pound list. He, like Canelo, had never been knocked down. He was a southpaw with a hammer jab. He was physically fucking huge, and he would get in everyone's face and he would demolish them. He would simply break through their defenses and he would punish them. It was almost like, it's hard to explain his style, but it's like he wasn't a one-hitter quitter, but what he would do was just have this relentless ability to break down defenses and then torture them en route to a stoppage. It's insane how many faces he broke along the way. Chris Algieri told me that when he punched him, it felt like he was hitting steel, right? Okay, so I went into this fight being like, I know Bud is good, but man, the tape on Errol is so convincing. And then Bud went in there and turned in terms of something I've seen with my own eyes, the best combat sports performance of my life. I mean, abused him, knocked him down multiple times, took no punishment, fought out of southpaw to trick him, but would switch to a degree. I mean, obliterated this guy to it's just unfathomable. Like, he hasn't fought since, and he was undefeated and had never been knocked down and was a marauder. Okay. The concept that an MMA fighter, even a good one like Ilia Topuria, could even hang on the level of Spence is comical. But even if you could, look what Bud did to him. He changed his life. He effectively retired him. And he was a pound for pound guy. But Crawford would abuse Topuria.